All right, welcome back to another video that I'm somehow making. However, this time, unlike before, I have quite a bit more few things to say about Taiko and mostly about the state of the franchise. I was like, now I'm gonna be honest with you. Last February, I kind of saw made a video where I kind of expressed my disappointment with Rhythm Festival. Now, granted, that video was mainly supposed to be about the online of the game itself, but after realizing how much of a letdown that was and thinking about everything that happened between then and now, and finding out that nothing has really much changed, it pretty much just soured my mood completely. Granted, this was mostly after a week of like feeling down and burnt out because again I'm kind of self on my own with my parents, and so I pretty much taken an emotional toll, which has pretty much led me to like pretty much be cynical and not really have faith in anything. But even then, it's kind of really hard to do so when you're constantly faced with a bunch of like negativity and pessimism. So again, I apologize if some of it kind of rubs out in the video in the wrong way. I'm gonna be probably a bit more harsher today than my other video, to be frank with you. So let's get to the main potatoes of it. So I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm disappointed in Reading Festival, like generally speaking. Normally speaking, I'm not normally speaking I'm mostly chill with games, stuff like that. But there comes a time where even the stuff that you do like to enjoy and play and like you become like a fan of can pretty much just disappoint you. And the fact that in like the last few years, Rhythm Festival has literally done nothing to like even incentivize you to even play and past a certain point. Because while it is true that the first few hours of the game can generally be fun and decide to put in hours and decide on which decide on what you want to do, you can pretty much get mileage out of it, stuff like that. But it pretty much comes to a point where sometimes you have to question like what do you even do in the game? Because again, the thing with Taiko is that there's not really endpoint inside because again, Taiko's pretty much ever since its inception, it's pretty much been one of those games where you create your own goal of what you pretty much want to do and what you achieve. And that's pretty much the same for the arcades and all the console games. However, my issue with Random Festival now is that I've pretty much come to a close conclusion that I've pretty much done everything I pretty much want to do in the game, which is probably gonna be the reason why this thumbnail title is so clickbaity. But I've realized that I've not really been playing Random Festival that much. In fact, I'm going to be completely honest with you. The only three times I ever picked up this game, especially this year, to record footage was for the anniversary song replay and the time that Mada Saitama and Dokuma came out respectively. I still need to put out that Mada video still, but I pretty much did everything in Dokuma, so I pretty much have that over with. And even then, most of the videos that I pretty much just posting now are stuff I pretty much recorded from last year because that's when I get into the game. Because this burnout that I pretty much had from Rental Festival got so bad to the point where I believe from like 2025, from May hours, I generally didn't want to do anything with the game anymore because I pretty much found out that at that point was a lost cause. Because again, there's like there's it's one thing to not really care about a game and do whatever you want, but when you pretty much just leave your fan base hanging low and dry and just drip feeding them content, hoping that you pretty much get your players back, it's just not good look in my eyes. And considering now that we're pretty much in the point where, basically speaking, there's only like one thing to pretty much do in Random Festival, and it's pretty much the same mode everything everybody's pretty much just doing right now. Like here's the thing too. Considering like depending on your platform, you have 5 or 6 modes in Random Festival. However, here's the thing. If you kind of sort of realize over the last few days or the last few months, a year playing that game, you kind of sort of realize that you're mostly gonna a lot of the time just playing one mode, and that's regular Taiko mode. Because again, you're not going to play online because online is pretty much ruined. And we don't even know how long until the devs decide to actually fix that mode. And even with the thing with Taiko Land, and especially this might be a pretty cool take, but one of the things that I pretty much realized in Taiko is that most of the side modes you don't really revisit them after you pretty much beaten or cleared them for the first time because again, unlike the regular Taiko mode where like you can pretty much revisit songs and pretty much do what you like, most of the side modes in Taiko, especially this mostly goes to the story modes and even the older games not exempt from this is that once you pretty much beat a side mode and pretty much experience everything you have to do in the side mode, there's not really any incentive for you to play it unless you're doing it for a video. But even then, you're not even gonna like really visit it. And this pretty much goes for Toy War, Donchan Band, Ninja Run, and even Dundon Fitness, which I thought was pretty much going to be fine. But even then, that mode and Ninja JoJo's, there's pretty much endpoints where you pretty much stop getting rewards, and even then, there's not really even any incentive to play it. It also doesn't really help the fact that even then, all the modes in Taekwondo you don't even talk about with other people because not a lot of people pretty much bring it up. Like nowadays, if you're gonna talk with someone about like the Honorable Festival or Rhythm Festival or anything, there's a pretty high chance that you're pretty much just gonna even talk about all the Taiko mode. And that's pretty much kind of really underwhelming to the point where I kind of really just slowly stopped talking about Taiko because to be honest, there's not really much to really talk about anymore these days. I mean, aside from like song updates, sure, fine, but even then, most of the stuff that really happens not just straight up happens in the arcade. And even whenever you can get something for the games, it just usually comes and goes like fast food. You just see what's new, you just play it for a video, you just move on. And the cycle has pretty much repeats itself for like the last few years that it hasn't really changed. And considering that Bandai Namco has a really horrible habit of just drip feeding people with content for games that are really just unfinished these days, it's not really surprising. Except that for this game, it works because again, what you're gonna do, it's not like you can pretty much play these songs online if you wanted to. And even if you would, you're not even going to touch Tackle. So again, out of like the 6 or 5 game modes in this game, you're just going to be playing one game mode most of the time. And at that point, there's nothing that pretty much differentiates Rhythm Festival from any other tackle game out there. And the only real excuse is that Rhythm Festival pretty much has a bigger songs that people just want to play. And that's again fine. Like again, I don't want to shame anyone for buying Rhythm Festival, that kind of thing. Again, if you like this game, more power to you. Again, I'm not gonna shame anyone for liking Rhythm Festival, but at some point, you just gotta like wonder what are they even doing in this game? Because again, it's like how can you really be this uncaring about a product that you just released and knowing that you're pretty much going to be fine with it? Like again, if this were to happen to like any other game, it'll be straight up inexcusable. Like I'm sorry, man, but like the fact that it's been like what 2 years ever since the Switch version, and they haven't addressed online in some capacity, it's just embarrassing. Again, I'm not gonna like say that Rhythm Festival hasn't had some meaningful updates. Again, we had some updates that really changed the game. Like the crown update and the training mode update from last year are some of the best things that the game has ever got. But even then, it took like a really long time for those to come out. Like just for record, like the crown update, I believe it came in like the first quarter of last year, and like that training mode update didn't come until like we're now 2025. I believe it was November-ish. So yeah, that was a long ass time of nothing but just song updates. And even then, the only highlight even then was the Miku update, the Miku collab thing where like 9 songs pretty much came out for the game, and that was like April. And that was the same time that these people realized that oh yeah, this game could use some improvements, and we didn't really think about anything. And even then, it was only because a friend of mine told me about the update that I decided that, you know what, maybe I'll just voice my complaints because again, I didn't really play the game at that time, and to be honest, I should have just informed you guys because again, I was completely bored out of my mind. I had other things to like go jump hunting, and that was like a month, well, 2 months before my current living situation happened. So again, I was pretty much busy, and I didn't even have time to play. So now I don't even know what to think anymore for this game, and to the point where it's basically become so hard for me to even consider picking up Rain Festival. Like back then, I didn't even have any second thoughts. I just pick it up, put it in my Switch, and play. But like the fact that a game has become now physically hard for me to even pick up and just even consider playing is just sad, honestly. When you consider the fact that again, this doesn't really happen to me with any other Taiko game ever. Like even RPG Pack, the game that like I sort of have mixed feelings about. I can just pick up that game and play, but Rhythm Festival, I don't know, man. I just don't feel the same with it anymore. And even then, because the thing with Rhythm Festival is that the moment that I pretty much got all the trophies, like my goal for that game was to get all the trophies and get every single collectible that I could pretty much get in the game. And that's what I pretty much did for the video. After I pretty much did, I didn't really have any incentive to grind anymore because again, I know that again this point can be debatable because again you could say that you could pretty much grind songs or pretty much whatever. Yeah, sure, but like at that point I didn't really have anything else to pretty much aim for. And even if I did, it's not like I had any arcades near me where I could pretty much test the skills out. So even then, those songs that I'm pretty much just playing, I'm just pretty much playing for practically nothing. And before anyone calls me out for being an attention seeker, I've already pretty much stayed on this channel through my community posts that I couldn't really care less about views or not. Because again, if I just pretty much just wanted easy views, I could be a contrarian and a grifter and pretty much make like misinformation about this game. But let's be honest, I hate myself even more for doing that, and you will probably hate your hate me for even spreading misinformation for this game because again, the last thing that people need is people spreading negativity for a game and pretty much killing the vibe for newcomers. But again, that's something that this game has already done because again, Namco has pretty much not really care for this game as much as it wanted to. This game has pretty much shot itself in the foot so many times from all the weird decisions that pretty much happened over the last few months to the point where I think at this point the damage has might as well been done anyway. Because again, what are you even gonna do to promote this game? Because again, if you were gonna promote this game right now, it's been like a few years old, and there's only so much to do. You can pretty much do to promote a game that's pretty much just been slowly bleeding out. And no matter how much you try to stop the wound, you can't pretty much ignore the fact that it's bleeding massively. Again, Bandai Namco has really this awful habit of just sweeping things under the rug and promote and thinking that not everything is cool when in reality it's not. And because of that, it's pretty much just bit them in the ass. And I think it's pretty much just come to the point where at this point it's practically the situation has practically worsened to the point where I think it's almost irreparable in a way. Because again, what are you gonna do? And even then, even if you're supposed to promote this game to someone and someone were to see it and be like, "Oh, I just want to try Taiko," the moment that they pretty much just see the way that the state of the franchise in with the games themselves, they'll probably mostly have second doubts to even want to try it or even come back and even visit as soon as the they even try the game as well themselves. Because here's the thing: multiple people have pretty much tried this franchise and the games themselves, and some people have pretty much just either distanced themselves from the games or just straight up just played one round and never came back. And even then, as the course of last year, I pretty much saw someone who was really excited to try out the games for the first time, tried out the arcades, and just pretty much left because he's saying he said he didn't fuck with the game because again Seeing the state of this franchise and how they don't really care about anything, why would anyone try to invest their time into it? And that's pretty much just the thing. If you don't take yourself seriously and other people see that you don't really take yourself seriously, they're not really gonna like stick around that much. And considering that we're now living in a time where like multiple games are pretty much fighting for your attention, if you pretty much release a product and that product isn't really like deserving or capturing someone else's attention, there's nothing really stopping them from just dropping it and moving on to the next game. Again, the only people who are still playing Rhythm Festival to this very day are pretty much just their hardcore Taiko players. But even then, I've talked to a few of them, and even then, they pretty much said that Rhythm Festival had pretty much gotten monotones at some points because again, they're pretty much just playing one mode for just practically forever until the day that they decide to do something with the game. And even talking about doing something with the game, there was the whole anniversary that happened last month. And even then, I'm going to be honest with you. I know that this year has pretty much been a weird year for anniversaries because some games had good anniversaries, some games had miracle ones like Mario and stuff. But like, I feel like there was actually a couple of anniversaries where like some companies actually learned from the mistakes from fucking up over the years. Like two of the franchises, like I'm a fan of a few franchises that are like pretty much known for fucking up, like Neptunia and Pokemon. And even to give credit to Neptunia, again, the thing with Neptunia is the franchise has been constantly up and down all around for like the last few years. But again, the recent game that came out for the trail last year, you could pretty much see that they really learned their lesson from the last game. Because again, the last game was so bad that people were pretty much almost losing faith in this series. Because again, it was pretty much just legit shovel where you could pretty much finish in like 45 minutes. Like that game was so bad. But the fact that they actually took their time, we didn't even get anything for like a year straight, and they pretty much revealed like an insane game where they've actually learned their lesson is actually impressive. Pokemon also pretty much did the same thing too. After ZA, they didn't really announce any other game since Scarlet and Violet, and now they pretty much we now have easy one of the best looking RPGs in that game series. And then you take a look at this game and they had their anniversary, sure, but like all we pretty much got for Rhythm Festival was a new 25th anniversary logo of Pop Bull Up and a new song that was like what viral for only that week. I mean, don't get me wrong, replay is still fun as a Namco original. I do really do appreciate it. It reminds me of the Angel Dream series in a way, but like I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't really feel anything from the anniversary. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't even watch it, but like I just read the news when I woke up the next day after the anniversary because again, I believe the anniversary stream happened when I was sleeping. So I just woke up, I saw the news, and even then, most of the news from the anniversary were from like the Project Sakai collab, which was mostly for the arcade and the Project Sakai games. So again, it's like I not really have any interest in any of those things. So again, it didn't really bother me. So I just moved on my day and just treated it like nothing. It's like at this point, it's really hard to really care anymore. And if you couldn't really tell for the tone of my voice in this video, it pretty much just came to a point where I just like have no feelings toward Rhythm Festival. Again, I don't hate it. Again, it's not like I pretty much am gonna slander it or anything because again, I don't think that that this game deserves slandering. But like, I don't hate it, but like, I can't really say I like it anymore either because I've gonna be honest with you. I think this game has pretty much broken my trust for it. Again, generally speaking, it's pretty hard for me to pretty much disappoint with games. Like even the games that people do hate, I try to at least find some light in them and make some fun of them. Again, that's what this channel was about. Again, I can pretty much play all the good games that people like to do, but I mostly focus on the games that people don't really like to play and the people that shit on games that I think are unfairly treated, which is why I ended up playing most of the games here are not really that good anyway. But like with Rhythm Festival, I don't really know what to really think about it anymore. I mean, I already did everything that I pretty much need to do in the game anyway. So now when I just look at it, it's like, yeah, I'm done. Again, I know this point can easily be debatable and say that, well, you could technically find stuff to do in the game and what we're saying is a lie. And technically speaking, that's true. But like, even if I wanted to, it's pretty much just going to be me doing. It's pretty much just going to be the same monotonous grind that we pretty much been doing for like the last few months. And again, I don't even think if I'm ready to commit to that when there's so many other games out there that pretty much deserve all my time. Like even in the same genre, I tried out other rhythm games, and after finding out how much they've like make the games more accessible and like more updates frequently to like make sure that it's in the best quality, and this game is just there and it's pretty much doing the bare minimum, and people are just eating it up regardless because again of the some song list. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, this is gonna be a low blow personally, and I actually said this on someone's stream, but I believe that the only reason why people haven't really turned to Rhythm Festival is because of the music pass. Let's be honest here. This is the only reason why people are going to be hard defenders this game, and I can understand the reason why. Because on one hand, had this music pass not exist for the game, people would have been more critical of the game. Because again, if it were to be like a drum and fun situation where like the online was horrible and that game and those games swap places with like no music pass, you just have the game, the songs, the DLC, and like the horrible online, it would have been a lot more. The backlash would have been a lot more heavy. But again, the music pass is pretty much the thing that pretty much softens this blow, and it's pretty much just going to be your end game content. So from here out, if you pretty much bought this game or plan to buy this game and are planning to do the online, the only advice I pretty much have for you at this point is pretty much get a friend, do a call, and pretty much do matchmaking that way. And by the way, please don't use the official Taiko server for matchmaking because trust me, you're not going to find anyone there. Like the amount of people that I've seen not like have their matchmaking calls unanswered there is frankly kind of ridiculous. And I think there's much other things you can pretty much bear this time. And even with the thing with the online, even if you're supposed to do like regular online, and do the same way you have to do it in German phone, where again you pretty much wait until certain ties to play with Japanese players. You're not even gonna get that much. And even then, I think Rhythm Festival has pretty much killed the online scene for Taiko because think about it. Even let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say you wanted a better online Taiko experience and say that, oh, you know what, I have German phone lying around. The thing is that one, Drum and Fun has been discontinued for a while now. I believe it was discontinued like early on into the decade, and even then, assuming you decide to import it and try it, you're not really gonna get anyone. Trust me, I've tried it, and like again, you're not really gonna really find anyone anymore because like, most people are pretty much migrated to Rhythm Festival because again, that's the game that people are playing, and that's the game that people want to play the online mode in. So it's not as simple as you just going back to your previous game because right now your only three options for online are the sticker of Rhythm Festival, importing drum and fun, or getting a PS4 and play drum session, which is pretty much be your best option. But even then, you pretty much have to get older console to play it, or just the game itself, or a PS5. Again, I don't. Yeah, getting a game and playing it on a PS5, and that's pretty much your only three options. The other fourth option is console discontinue. Again, Taikonotatsujin, the Drum Master. But even then, I don't really think that anyone's really going to care that game anymore because, again, that game just came and went. So, honestly, that's pretty much it, really, and that's all I have to really say. But before I end this video, I do want to go over two more. Well, I have one more point to go over because, again, I've pretty much covered the other point. I was like, your solution to like the online mess. The last thing I want to go over is the possibility and The last thing I do want to go over, and this is has been a debate topic, is the topic of a new Taiko game. Now, this point holds some weight to it because Taiko games have been released on anniversaries. Again, good example of this: Chibi Dragon V version. Chibi Dragon was released for the 10th anniversary, and I believe and Ketiban, Chocoban, Wii U 3 are also anniversary games. So there could be a chance that a game released for the anniversary, which would be a normal thing considering the fact that we get Taiko games every 2 to 3 years. The problem with that is that, well, considering the fact that Rhythm Festival has like a subscription service, I don't really think that Namco is pretty much just gonna like ditch the idea of ditching Rhythm Festival just to do a new game because again, not only will it be a huge disservice to Rhythm Festival, because again, leaving the game that is currently in a mess as it is and just going to a new game just doesn't seem right. When they could just improve Random Festival and pretty much have a game that's practically available on every platform better to play for everybody, as opposed to releasing a new game. And even with the thing with a new game, Random Festival has pretty much killed every Rhythm Festival has pretty much killed the competition, as in like it makes previous title games harder to go back to, and even then, the only thing that is pretty much replacing Rhythm Festival at this point is a new title game. Because again, assuming they decide to pretty much go the port route, and like the last time they even tried playing something went poorly for them again, because the thing with RPG Pack was that like 6 years ago when that game came out, and like people realized that it was like a half-ass port, no one really bought it because again, like people just play that game for like 2 weeks. Everyone went back to Drum and Fun because again, that was the game that was really constantly getting updated. It also didn't really help the fact that Drum and Fun was pretty much getting better DLC at the end of its life cycle, getting to 2020, which was the same time Renner Vector Pack came out. So again, if they repeat that same cycle and like we get a port, it's pretty much going to end up in the same fate. And if it's from assuming the port is like from one of the older Taiko games, that really didn't do much because again, there's very few games in this series that like are really gold standard games. If they end up pouring something that's not up to par, it's pretty much just gonna suffer the same fate again. So again, they're pretty much not gonna do that route. And honestly, I don't really see them releasing a new Taiko game anytime soon. Again, I really hate to be that person, but I honestly don't really see it happening. Again, they could surprise me, but even then, I think that would be a huge disservice to Rhythm Festival where they could just pretty much just make Rhythm Festival a way better product than Zins. But I guess pretty much one of those things that we just have to wait and see. And honestly, that's the only thing I could pretty much say right now. It's just pretty much just a matter of waiting. And honestly, that's pretty much all you can do right now. And this is pretty much the result of just pure apathy. When you just really don't care about what's really happening and you just let problems be overlooked, it pretty much just bites you in the butt later. And when you try to fix it and realize that the problem is just unsalvageable, you can't really do anything about it. So that's pretty much all I really have to say. And honestly, this game pretty much broke my trust, and it's gonna be a while before that trust is pretty much rebuilt. But I'll give you this. If Naoko manages to turn things around and make Rhythm Festival a better game, I'll take back my words and take back everything I said. But as of now, I pretty much have very little feelings about this game, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, this video was more of a bit of a personal note. Again, I didn't really script this. This was more of like current thoughts, feeling without putting anything on the paper. So I might have got some few things wrong, but yep, that's pretty much what I really wanted to say. So if you make it through the end of the video, I appreciate it. And let me know your thoughts below on what you think about what I said. And maybe let's stay with the franchise if we pretty much want to talk about it because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of really slowly losing hope for this franchise. Like generally speaking, like say what you want about like spreading positivity and all of that stuff, but even then, it's pretty much comes to like you can't really help but ponder what's really gonna happen if things end up being this way, where like there's no care anymore. Because again, there's only so much a fandom can pretty much do for a game, but if the company itself is not willing to put in the time and effort to pretty much make the best of what the friendship can be and just pretty much be aloof and uncaring at the same time, it's not gonna end up well. So yeah, that's what I pretty much want to say. So I'll see you guys next time, and Taiko videos will resume as normal, and yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it. So yeah, see you guys next time.